All right, y'all. 8:30 on the dot. I'm here. I don't know where the rest of y'all is at. Waiting for my folks to show up in here. I have my music playing. 900 and hey babe, I got my Hertz playing. You hear it, babe? 963. They call that the God frequency, baby. Up here comes some folks. Hey everyone, I'm glad y'all joined. Let me turn my frequencies down. I was in my zone before I started this video today, this live feed. So I got my music off here. I want to talk about masturbation tonight, y'all, because a lot of people got it twisted. So I'm here to shed some light on that fact and that information. First of all, masturbation is not natural. I used to have this hard time trying to figure out, like is that sinful? Like, what is masturbation doing that causes a problem to the mainstream world? Peace, I said. How you doing, Shug? I was looking for you. But I was trying to figure out what it was that was condemning, us from like having to masturbate or being able to masturbate. So I don't know if you all know of Phil Valentine, right? But I have this book called The Wounded Womb. This book right here, y'all need to get this book. I think this is very, very beneficial to men and women. I actually, reading this book, I've come into a lot of realization. Hi, how you doing? Kwabina, can't say your name, Shiz. Hope that was right. But anywho, this book is very beneficial to helping me explain some things. So first of all, I wanted to point out there are different energies of males and females. Hi, Gary. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can. I'm supposed to be doing this video with my fiance, and I'm trying to figure out how I can bring him into this live feed. So let me see how I can do it real quick. Don't really know how. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second. Does anybody know how you can bring somebody up on a live feed? Because I am having some technical difficulties. Babe, I don't know how I can get you on here. You might have to call my phone so I can bring you in, because I have no idea how to get you here on live. Somebody did it one time before, but I have no idea. Yeah, you called, but I don't know how you figure it out. Oh, for y'all who don't know, my fiance is Ubuntu Haru Emanifu down there. And he's supposed to be joining me live on this feed so we can talk about it together as a collective so y'all can get the male point of view and the female point of view. However, we are having some technical difficulties with getting him on here. Oh, hold on, he's just going to call me. Hold on, you guys. Oh, babe, I'm echoing. Hi, everyone. This is my fiance here.
That's crazy.
Oh, babe, you got to turn down your volume. Okay, so what I wanted to say was that there is, thanks, Jerry. So there is the gynic woman, and then there's the andric woman. There is the gynic male, and then there is the andric male. Meaning that feminine energy, that energy of that natural essence of a woman. And then you have the andric woman who is more butch or more male-ish, who loves that ratchet lifestyle, who's all about that hardcore stresses, right? And then you got the same thing for the male. You have the female male, you know, who his feministic side shows more than the male side, and then you have that male who's actually that natural male energy and vibe. So as I was saying, there's two energies in this world, and that's positive and negative energies. So when it comes to masturbation, we have to think about what exactly are we doing that is messing up our polarity and our balance. First of all, when you're masturbating, is you yourself masturbating with yourself. You don't have that equal polarity of balance where that male energy can balance out that female energy or vice versa. So you are pretty much Hotel Haru. So you are pretty much condemning yourself and bringing more tension than needs to be by self masturbating. And what I mean by that is, like, for one, for females, females mainly masturbate and they are, you know, messing with their clitoris. So the clitoris holds all of the bundle of nerves in a woman. Women are emotional and mental creatures. So when a woman is constantly rubbing on her clitoris, she is overexerting the nerves in her body. So that means the nerves in her body is traveling to her mental, is messing with the rest of her nerves in her body. And each time it's like this female trying to get this high from masturbating. Because once you masturbate once, it's like a person who gets addicted to heroin or cocaine. Once you do it one time, you know, now you're trying to chase that high. So now you're trying to do it harder and harder the next time, causing more problems to that nervous system or, you know, the clitoris and everything like that. So with that being said, if you are doing that, you're like, if a female does it on her own, you know, does it on her own without that male balance, she is causing that tension by herself. So she's causing this tension of toughness. Like, the more tension you cause with your nervous system, the more testosterone your body has to make, because women are supposed to be stressed out. So by causing this tension, stressing out your body's nervous system, you are creating more testosterone than you are estrogen. So now you got women becoming more butch, andric females, than you have women being naturally feministic. Also, yes, inverted private bliss. Exactly right. That's one of the things that the elite, you know, always say sex sells. Sex sells because it's messing with your mental. And people are becoming perverted to where they don't understand self-love. They don't understand how to truly love yourself without abusing yourself. Masturbation is self-abusal. So when you're doing more self-abusal, it becomes to that point where now we got roles are switching. Men are becoming too feministic. Women are becoming too male-ish, men-like. And then you have roles that have switched. Now you got men trying to be women and women trying to be men, all playing into this homosexual role, canceling out the natural home and the natural style of that woman male concept. You know, once you destroy that, it caused a issue where now that adds to their population control. If you got men acting like women and women acting like men, they become repulsed from each other. Men don't want to deal with women because they're too soft. Women don't want to deal with men because they're too hard. So now you got all this homosexuality and stuff going on. You have to think about, like, toxins, masturbation, you know, these certain things like religion and all these distractions all play into messing with the mind's brain frame, right? So, you know, me and my boo, hey babe, we was talking about today, you know, the effery behind masturbation. So I wanted to read something in this book. I have a couple of things that I wanted to mention. And babe, if you want to chime in on anything, by all means.
Yeah, let me say, with masturbation, I don't know if you mentioned chronic. It's a chronic disorder if people don't know. People, like you say, once they get into it, then they want to get more of the feel. They're chasing that high, they're chasing that feel. You know, I mean, myself and maybe you know, did the same daggone thing. You know, we hear things that are pros and cons. We hear that, well, that's a self-realization or to feel yourself out and all of that, you know. But then now you get older, you're like, man, I ain't going to waste my life no more, you know? So it becomes a chronic disorder.
Yeah.
And some facts, you know, people like keep chasing that high, keep chasing it and go harder and go wherever they want to go. You know, masturbate in public, they masturbate in you know, in schools in front of children.
Yeah.
It turns people into perversion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's like you're taking something natural and then you make it perverted. Like naturally, you're supposed to have that cosmic balance with that counterpart. You can't masturbate with yourself and be able to release a certain type of tension safely, as far as like, you know, that self-love. When you're masturbating, that's more of a self-hate, because it's like you're beating up the clit trying to catch that high. Same thing with masturbating, like you ejaculating and doing all this stuff harder and harder trying to catch that high. And what men don't be seeming to understand is that the more you ejaculate and the more you masturbate, the more that like your sperm is coming from the base of your pineal gland. So it's going from your pineal gland down your spine and out of your testes. So this has to do with your endocrine system. That's for the men. As for the women, it's your nervous system. So the more that you are masturbating, or the more the man is masturbating, the more he is actually falling from his Christ-like consciousness, because you're using so much of your Christ-like consciousness from your pineal gland, and you're just shooting it all over the place, that is actually making you spiritually dumber, so to say, because you're using something that's supposed to be used to give life, as far as bringing children into this world, and you're just spitting it out for no reason. So the more you spit it out for no reason, it's causing problems.
Right. And it causes people to isolate themselves too.
Yeah.
When in fact the concept comes up, well, I don't need nobody to keep me happy or to satisfy me, you know?
Exactly.
So, we buy the toys. That's a big market now. Sex industry. You buy the toys. When guys do all sorts of stuff with their hands and it gets crazy.
Yes. It's like it's a mental thing. The more that you masturbate, the more you want to be to yourself. You don't want to mingle in with the opposite sex no more, because you feel like, oh, you know, I don't need her or I don't need him. Truth be told, that is that divide and conquer tactic. The more you masturbate, the more you put yourself off here to the side and cause that mental sickness. Now you got women walking around talking about something, I don't need no man. I don't know what world y'all come from, but I need my man, okay? I need that balance, and I need that, you know, that equal, that polarity. Same thing with men. Men be talking about some, you know, okay, that's right. Men be talking about something, they don't need no woman. I don't know what's wrong with you men folk who think like that, but that is a problem. You will always and forevermore need the opposite sex. Always. Hands down. You can't talk about black love and you're hating each other. Or you can't talk about black love and the only person, you know, you're selfishly self-hating yourself by masturbating instead of getting that union with the opposite sex, an opposite person. So from this book, it talks about, again, the gynec woman. So it says, I have noticed that women who retain the greater part of their higher feminine instincts have a much harder time acclimating to the pathological pace set forth by the neo-feminists in their equality agenda. First of all, women are not supposed to be physically equal to man. Man is supposed to be built for the physical world. His mind state is more physical, not as far as he doesn't not dealing with his emotions so much. They don't deal with emotions so much. They're more that positive energy of let's get motivated, let's move forward, let's handle this physical stuff that we got to handle, build houses, they're protectors. So when it comes to the outside world, it is the world of the man. He's supposed to be striving out there in that world. When you got women wanting to be that man physical energy in essence, that's because their mental is jacked up. Masturbation plays into that. And a lot that I've realized, like these lesbian women, you got these lesbian women who are butch, and then you have, these other, the other women who like, it's just like the more and more they get into masturbating, messing with the clitoris, the more you are damning who you are. You're damning your natural essence. You're becoming more, like I said, far away from your natural gynic cells, and vice versa for men.
It's the feminism that kind of incited that.
Yeah, they did. When you start thinking that you don't have no need for the opposite sex, that's a problem. So it says, women with gynic instincts show the noticeable wear and tear of their pace and their sensitive temperaments and psyches. Andric or testosterone dominant women also show some overt signs of distress, but with nowhere near the physical and psychological impact experienced by the truly gynic woman. It talks about how the andric woman seems to thrive on that hustle and bustle, stresses and strains of this society, relentless pace, and any anatomical problems arising as a result are often dismissed as a female problem. They can be alleviated by adding even more stress with aerobics, medication, therapy, or jogging regimens. What women don't seem to understand is that our bodies isn't meant for stresses. The more the body stresses, the female body stresses, the more testosterone the body has to make up for that stress that you have placed yourself in. These powers that be and these elite folks, they know this. They know that the more stressed a woman becomes, the more testosterone she makes. When a woman has a baby and she's pregnant, and your energy is so high strung off of nervous tension, that same emotional energy of tension goes straight to the child. So now you're bringing in a child into this world who is already emotionally effed up because you effed them up. And we wondering, and people talking about some, people talking about some, like so the homosexual, I have nothing wrong, do what you do. But I know for me, myself, and it ain't natural. So you can't come to me telling me it's natural for a brother to come out being gay. It ain't natural for a woman to come out in this world being gay. Okay? The only reason why they coming out or feeling the way they feel is probably because your mama, okay, was high strung on tension, and that energy and that emotion field was driven energetically to that seed and that fetus. That's the reason why you feel like you was born gay. But that shit don't exist. Let's just be real about that.
That's right. That's high.
So something else that I want to, more about, what this book is going through and talking about.
The listeners, you really have to protect the babies, really do, because people will say, "Oh, what's wrong with that child?" Well, because what's wrong with you, the one who carried it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now, there's a little innocent seed that has no knowledge of outside mess that's going on. They only have knowledge of what's inside and what's feeding them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You gotta protect them.
And I'm like I said, the elite know about all this. The elite knows that the woman is the start of the nurturance. If you target her, you condemn her, you damn her psyche. Okay? then that plays off into the child, and it's just like a constant breakdown effect. So when it comes to masturbation, again, like I said, when men masturbate, you got to think that, for one, think about your endocrine system. So the more that this man is ejaculating, letting out his sperm, self-hating himself, the more that it's like your testes hold your testosterone. So the more you're constantly spitting it out, the more you are, your testosterone is going out, and it has to be replaced by estrogen. You become soft because you spit out testosterone and that energy and that essence for no reason. So the more you giving it out and getting rid of it, the softer you become. So I'm like, we got to think smart and be aware of this. I came across, hey Tef Nut, I'm about to say what I came across when I saw your video. She asked the question she said that she was reading this book, and she said the book had mentioned something about your sexual desires should be pursued in accordance to moral and intellectual principles.
Right.
She asked the question of what did that mean, or what was it trying to say by, your sexual desires should be pursued in a way of moral and intellectual principles. By that being said, just like I'm saying about masturbation in no way, shape, or form or fashion has anything to do with moral and intellectual principle. It has to do with that selfish desire of lust.
Gratification.
Yes, gratification. So,
That's a big word, and everybody do it though.
Exactly. So, and I'm like, everybody is doing it because, for one, like I said, sex sells. When a person is depressed and in anxiety and they feel like the world is on them, they have to gratify themselves in some way, some form of addiction, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, or whether it's sex. It has to be one or the other. Even religion plays into that. When you go too far into abusing something, you're abusing religion, you're abusing alcohol, you're abusing sex, you're abusing all of these things, it is condemning you into a place of depression. Instead of dealing with what the problem is, you're causing more of a problem, and you're helping the elite with their agenda. So to answer Miss Tefnut's question about, her asking about the moral intellectual principle, to do something that does not pertain to the making love. If you're not making love, cosmic exchange of love making, then you are going against that moral and intellectual principle of the higher self.
That right there, I'm coming from this book called The Hood Health Handbook. Mm-hmm. It's written by Supreme Understanding, PhD. I want to put in chapter 2. That's why sacred, what do you call it? Sacred exchange, sacred, what is that? Energy exchange.
Oh, yeah, we was talking about that too.
Energy exchange. This is coming from chapter 2, sexual health. Sex is good for you. And this is down in black and gold ink. Sex relieves stress. Sex lowers blood pressure. Sex boosts immunity. Sex improves body maintenance. Sex improves cardiovascular health. Sex boosts self-esteem. Sex improves intimacy. Sex reduces pain. Sex helps you sleep better. Sex heals wounds. Sex prevents old age problems. That helps. Sex reduces prostate cancer risk. Sex strengthens pelvic floor muscles for women. Sex increases blood flow. Sex is a fountain of youth. And last, sex increases testosterone and estrogen.
Yes. Right. And when it comes to sex, sex is, like I said, it's that exchange, like you just said, sacred sex, energy of sex exchange. So some people would be like, well, just like I see Prince Jahida down here, he says that when it comes to masturbation, that everything should be in moderation. Mind you, as I just stated in this book and talking about even furthermore in what we're discussing, moderation has to do with sex exchange. If you are doing it with yourself and only yourself, that is self-hate because you're not loving the sacred exchange of that balanced energy with you. If you don't have that balanced energy with you to help, release that tension, like the more a woman lets that energy off, she's supposed to gain back that energy from that male principle or that male energy. And that's how it works. Same thing for a man. If a man is having that, sexual release, he has to re-energize by that of the female. You can't get that energy back if you're masturbating. That's abusing yourself. There is no moderation to that, Shug.
How about to those ones who are suffering out there, all lonely in this world, who just relies on masturbation?
Yeah, those who rely on masturbation, who's in this lonely field. First of all, if you're in that lonely field, you might want to fix your root chakra, okay? Your root chakra and your crown chakra, because these are the things that we got to understand what the body needs. Know thyself, okay? The root chakra means you need to ground yourself. If you ain't comfortable with being alone with yourself without having to masturbate and self-hate, you might have a sickness. Mental.
Freaking crazy.
I see that Prince Jihad on here says lust and love is the same thing. If you think lust and love is the same, that might be a sickness. Mental.
It can be kind of balanced out, but it depends on what you're lusting for.
Exactly. Now I can say that to me it's two different things. Simply because of the factor of, like I said, lust has more so to do with, yearning without, kind of like yearning without that certain balance. Like you can't love somebody and lust somebody. Like if you love somebody, you will love them regardless and have no need for lust. However, if you're lusting somebody, then, that lust also ends to the whole masturbation. Because of that lust factor, you watching porn, so now you masturbating.
It goes to the skin. Where I say I can lust for you and love you, but I'm not going to go to the extreme where every time I see you in the face right now, I'm going to masturbate.
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy. But I can lust for you as, I have a love for you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to being with you and all of that. That got to feel.
Okay, I can understand that.
Maybe come from that perspective.
I can also say that when it comes to all this masturbation and things like that, we got to realize, like, where did this come from, first of all, y'all? Like, this wasn't nothing sacred in ancient African communities. We didn't come up with this masturbation thing, okay? We didn't come up with this, let me go beat my meat without my woman. Like what? And in our ancient era, it was, we knew that sacred energy exchange. We knew that, for one, that's why they had, me and Baby was talking about this, how they had priests who were there for men. Like, today it would be considered prostitution. However, back in the ancient times, you can go into these temples and you would have priestesses, women, who would lay down with that man and, while having sex and all this other stuff, he opens up to her. That was his vent. That was the way he could equally exchange that energy to where, he could escape the tension of the physical world and come here to this woman and gain that energy exchange to balance him out. So no matter how you take it, form, or fashion, you will always need that sacred exchange with the opposite sex.
Now, ancient times also, that's why they developed the Tantra, sex, and the Kama Sutra. And in ancient Egypt, there's papyrus that shows different sexual positions.
Mm-hmm.
That is all to, again, exchange the energy. And it was also, if you really know your history, a lot of diseases weren't present then like it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the diseases are man-made now. And we can relatively say that, the ancients were kind of clean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they had orgies at different societies,
Mm-hmm.
different civilizations. They had orgies and, different type of sexual expression.
Yeah.
Which is all pure, which is coming back to light now.
Yeah.
Again, certain societies and certain civilizations have little children too now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. But to them, it wasn't like that homophobia, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That the mindset was way different.
Yeah. Much
in
different.
In the area of BC,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just out of that.
I'm like, these days, it's like we're just, our mindsets are just like, it's become sick. Everything is perverted. Everything isn't, like, things aren't used for its natural essence. And we just walking around here, like deers stuck in headlights. Like, we don't know what's what. And the reason why we don't know what's what is because we have abused ourselves so much. So another thing in this book about masturbation, let me see here, because I do be having so much to explain. It says that constant masturbation and ejaculation debilitates the liver. This is when it comes to men. When it comes to men, the more that you masturbate, the more it is pulling from your endocrine system and is taking away from your liver. Now, you can get rid of some of this estrogen by clearing out the liver. So the more you clean and clear out the liver, the more estrogen you can get rid of and get out of your system. But you have to detoxify. So it's saying how, because of the overall saturation of our environment with literally millions of tons of toxins, endocrine disrupting pollutants, contributing to the genetic anomalies suffered by humanity today, men can and do retain more estrogen than they naturally should. But a healthy andric, testosterone integrous man can quickly flush any excess of estrogenic materials from his system by way of the liver. By the liver becoming debilitated from masturbation, it causes the liver to become weak and dysfunctional, which is why we have a lot of men, with liver failures, different things of that matter. This in turn may cause a retardation of his ability to eliminate estrogenic materials, allowing them to accumulate, eventually resulting in biochemical perversions, leading to behavioral confusion. He begins to radiate a more gynic charge or feminine charge and energy field from his biokinetic life force. So now, because you've masturbated so much, now you have caused yourself to become that female male energy. So that whole homosexuality and stuff like that, like, you're causing it yourself now, mentally now, because that man is using so much of that life force, that was supposed to be meant to bring life into this world, but you're just giving it out way free and nilly. Now you're creating more of that estrogen. So now this man is becoming more feministic. Babe, you still there? What happened to you?
Well, the video was poor, so I got you on speaker.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So then it says, he is afflicted with the opposite imbalance to the andric female. That is estrogen pathway toxicity, where an overproduction of estrogen or estrogen-like materials become bound up in his cell's nuclei or germ plasma. In essence, he becomes a gynic male. So that's why we have so much of this homosexuality popping off, whether it be male or female. We got too much of it going on because everybody is doing too much of that self-hate that they thought was self-love, but you're actually abusing that natural sexual exchange.
Yes, abusing it real good too.
Okay.
Facts.
It also says here, when a man masturbates and ejaculates constantly, he loses precious life essence that are of exact composition as brain and spinal fluid, which I talked about earlier. When it comes to us females here, it says that one thing about the woman, like I said before earlier, that the more that this woman is messing with her clitoris and causing this friction, first of all, you ain't going to get the same high that you got the first time when you rubbed your clitoris. It's going to be more and more work the next time and the next time around. So the more that she is masturbating, she is causing, because your clit is, like I said before, a bundle of nerves. So the more that you're trying to rub and get that high, the more your nervous system is going into shock. The more your nervous system goes into shock, the more stress that you are causing. The more stress that you are causing, the more testosterone you are making.
You know what I'm saying?
The more testosterone you are making, that's what's causing us to be, for women to become smokers. Women doing what men do. I remember my grandmother used to always say, it ain't ladylike to smoke and drink. That ain't ladylike. And now I get it. I didn't get it before, but I get it now. It ain't ladylike to smoke and drink, because that's what men do. Once we start doing that, that lets us know that our natural feministic essence has now been altered and effed up to now we think we men.
Yeah.
You ain't no man, boo. And y'all men folk ain't no women.
Yeah, like after sex day, everybody needs a cigarette, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, like we definitely got to get out of this chronic masturbating mindset.
Yeah, I mean, people get frustrated, you know, and that's the outlet that they know. They come home and masturbate.
Exactly. And that's another thing. Like, that's the reason why they distract us with nonsense. That's the reason why they make us feel all tense. Because for some, they come home and masturbate and the tension is gone. So they say. However, it's not that the tension is gone. It's just that you have exerted it for that time period. But it still becomes an addiction.
Talk about, let's see, all right. Also, we as a people, colored original people in wilderness in North America, I'll put it that way, because a lot of people can't relate. We have been tormented and traumatized by slavery.
Yeah.
There's a couple of posts that I put up today, and it's been viral on book breaking. Upbreaking, if people don't know, where on the plantation, the oppressor takes the strongest looking African male and breaks him down. Rape him in front of others, his children, his wife, whoever. Rape him, break him down, and again, you know, it's setting the example for everyone else.
Yeah.
That right there, they also had sex camps in the plantation.
Yeah.
Where they would turn out young little black boys to cater them by their wenches.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's a lot of that, you know, that, like I said, people just don't be taking account to. Like, and then something else that we was talking about was how like, not only is it masturbation, like our minds have become sick to where we think BDSM, bondage, that slavery, that mentality like that we think that shit is normal. That came from slavery. The only reason why we feel the need, you know, that whole let's get tied up and chained up and whipped and all this other stuff is because in slavery, that's exactly what they did to us. So now we think that sexual gratification of that bondage is satisfying. It's a genetic generational curse. From slavery, we were so jacked up and sick-minded, thinking that, you know, by our masters whipping us and all this other stuff, that's some type of love. That ain't no love. And now we're like doing it on our own now.
Yeah, it's fun games, you know, because slavery is done and gone with. So the porn industry is another disguise of slavery.
Yes.
Check it out.
Porn industry is another disguise of, just like you said, babe, of the slavery thing. Like they put all of this stuff into porn and mess like that. For one, it sells because a lot of people are depressed and lustful eyes, which is why I said there's a difference between lust and love. Because with lustful eyes, you do dumb stuff out of depression and anxiety. So because of that, now you are looking for that high. Now you are looking for somebody to whip you, looking for somebody to beat you, looking for somebody to do this BDSM play on you, looking to get rid of a certain type of tension because you don't know how to meditate and you don't know how to make that sacred exchange with the opposite sex. So now you are going to the heights of stupidity, so to say, to get that gratification or that self-love that you think is self-love, but it's more so that self-hate. Our ancient ancestors knew about that energy exchange of loving each other. We love each other and was able to balance with each other. You can't balance with each other if you're looking for yourself or you looking to get beat.
And create the masses, the population.
Exactly.
It's like our sexual organs is not here for waste.
Exactly.
It's just that we're just lost and confused since the beginning of our time, and we came into this world where all of that is like, oh shoot, go ahead, it's all good. It's all good, in our neighborhoods and cities. And you hear the talk out in the street, we come up with, I've got that girl, and I stick my finger in there, and we come out. Come on,
Yeah, and it's like we glorify the perversion. Like I come across so many people and they be like, masturbation ain't nothing but me self-loving myself. No, nigga, it ain't nothing but you self-hating yourself because you didn't know how to balance with that woman. Like it's a lot of men who is kind of like standoffish from the woman, and it's a lot of women who are like standoffish from that man. Like why are you being standoffish with naturally it's supposed to be one with you? It's like we hate each other. Why are we hating each other? We hate each other so much. We rather self-abuse ourselves than love each other. That is a sickness.
Yeah. And then here comes the diseases that plagues our communities, particularly Black and Latino. Lesbian and the LBG, whatever.
Yeah.
The diseases come on in, and it plagues us now. Like we're and like to me, it's like we're the most sexual, the colorful, highly sexual beings. Really look at it. We are highly sexual beings. That's why we're exploited in the music industry as well, and the film industry. I'm looking at the Grammys, the introduction.
Yeah.
And, all the Black women, everybody's stripped down, but naked almost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And that's because it's the lustful eye. That's why I said that lustful eye mess you up.
That's right.
Almond Lee asked, why do Black females always talk about whacking off? First of all, the reason why they talk about whacking off is because that's exactly what they're doing with their clitoris. Whacking on that thing with their hand, trying to get that high. They can't get that high, so they like trying to move the mess out of it, trying to catch that high. Like that's what I mean by that masturbation. It gets harder and harder each time. So each time you are self-abusing yourself, each time trying to catch a high, a sexual high, because it's trying to get rid of some type of tension. That's a problem and a mental sickness.
Let me answer that too. That word itself, whacking off, that came from the man's mouth.
Yeah.
Whacking off is basically jerking off. So they switched it into a new era now. So, a lot of words repeat itself if you look at it. And again, like you said, they going into they want to get that high, they want to squirt.
Yeah.
Sorry to be, graphic, but yeah.
But even with that, like, that whole, the juices, when women squirt, that is to help push out a baby. Them juices are naturally supposed to help with birthing a child. But because women, just like now, masturbation, the more you masturbate, you're doing the squirting and all this other stuff, you're exerting energies that wasn't meant for that. These energies was meant for bringing a child into the world. When women naturally, like when women are naturally healthy, when a woman is naturally healthy, she is supposed to have that child on her own. No epidurals, none of that. She's supposed to be able to have that baby at her house, okay, or wherever she is, and it's supposed to feel like an orgasm when you have a baby. It's supposed to feel, you're like you're bringing love and life into this world. It's not supposed to be painful. The people that started out with that painful nonsense was those with lesser melanin. They didn't have that strength or that, they didn't have that energy to where they was built for that. And I don't want to say white people per se, but it has more so to do with positive and negative energies. The more negative you are in, and the more that negative energy space field that you're in, the more painful things will be versus balancing out the two. Almond Lee says that blacks are not the most sexual. Now, granted, I cannot say that because if it wasn't for black folks and whatnot, sex is life. Okay, it was white men and women who abused sex the most. But as far as the most sexual, that has always been the highly melanated beings, because we knew that sex brings life. Life and healing. Sexual healing has always been natural. When you start abusing it like these lesser beings, negative beings, that's when the problem kicks in.
Yeah, I mean,
I listen. I hear you, back.
Okay, you can't quit to be putting off like that. You got to really. This is why history is so important. I don't know why people don't check our history out. You want to love yourself, love your history, love where you come from. Our people are so expressive throughout time. Ancient times. That's why we are sexual beings, because our highly melanin skin is the area that the geographical areas that we come from are tropical and hot, not cold like in the mountains, where all of that can change everything about yourself. And the expression of our culture and tribes too. The music, the rhythm, all of that, the way we move our bodies. Come on, it's not a mystery. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to dig in their history, dig in our history. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely very beneficial. Something else that I was, coming into understanding with this book, again, for those who just now are coming in and whatnot, the book that I'm getting certain information from is called The Wounded Womb by Dr. Phil Valentine. This is a book that you need to get, men and women alike. I have to point out again that women are more mental, more spiritually motivated, and they are more soft. They're more that nurturing energy. Men are more physical, more worldly motivated. So that's the reason why when men masturbate, it is targeting your endocrine system, because it's dealing with that wear and tear or mellowing out your toughness, mellowing out your testosterone, making you softer. Vice versa for women. Women it has to do with your nervous system, because we are more mental. The nerves are connecting to that mental state of mind. So the more that you are masturbating, the more you are causing problems and conflicting with your mental state of mind. So that softness has now become hardened. And then, like I said, once you're done with masturbating, et cetera, now it's like your tension. For women, your tension is high. So now you're getting more aggravated by your children yelling, playing, when in naturality and ancient cultures, way back when, we knew children play. We knew they make noise. We knew that's just what it was. And, women were soft with them. We let it happen all day long. Now you got mothers getting highly pissed off at their children for their children being naturally who they are. Like, how you gonna get mad at a child for yelling and screaming and playing around? And I noticed that myself. I noticed that myself, that when my son sometimes be getting too hype, it's like the tension in my brain cells is like on high strung, you know. So I realized that the more I myself, you know, heal myself, the more I don't do things like smoking and drinking and jacking up my temple, masturbating, all this stuff. The more I stop doing that, the more calmer I get. The more I become into that place of peace, and the more gynic I become. All of this plays into also menstruation. And I talk about that in my next video tomorrow night. So y'all make sure y'all there.
All of that heals the self. The body heals the self with that too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, once it comes back, you bring back the body back to its original self.
Yes.
Everything heals. Yeah.
Exactly. Let me see if I've missed anything right here.
Guys.
It just says that chronic masturbators may, more often than not, be childhood victims of molestation or even overbearing mothers. They may become rapists and or child molesters, and in the case of men, are generally very abusive towards women. Something that I realize is that, you know, for one, because the house is a broken home, and for most homes, there is only the woman there, only the mother. The mother means no harm, but she becomes overbearing because without that balance, men are supposed to be there to discipline and cause that bring that toughness. Whereas that woman is supposed to be that nurturer and that female essence. If there's no man in the home, then the mother has to take on both roles. Discipline and that loving and nurturing factor. So for a child who can't decipher the two, and they've known their mother since, you know, from birth, their mom has been that loving and nurturing type. But if you have that woman or that mother who, you know, trying to do both roles to the child, is going to seem like, you know, they can't figure out the two. So they're craving, searching for that certain type of love because they may feel like, you know, because their mother being overbearing, she's being too tough and she's not giving them the love that they're looking for. However, that's just may not be the case. But for a child coming into this world, they haven't figured all that out yet. So unless you're teaching them certain things and why you do what you do, then they can heal better. But for most of the time, those who masturbate is because they're looking for love. They're looking for some type of form or fashion of love. So they feel like, oh, well, I guess I can love me better than anybody else can love me. But they have perverted the statement. If you love yourself, you ain't about to beat your vagina or your dick up. Excuse my French, but you're not about to beat it up and then, you know, be like, I don't need no man or I don't need no woman. That is a perversion and a sickness. Let me say that one more time.
That's right. That's right. It was all taught again. The conditioning of chattel slavery raped us and molested us from our original selves. Our original self being. Again, we have to research our history, knowing where we came from, who our people were. I mean, it's beyond Africa.
Exactly. It gets much more deeper than Africa. Like I love my black folks to death, but y'all must not understand the concept of black love and what that actually consists of, because it has nothing to do with we come from Africa. It has something to do with understanding your energy and the polarities. That's what our ancient cultures understood. They knew that they were beyond the continent. They were older than the concept of Africa or the concept of black.
Yes.
Once you know yourself, you really get that understanding, now we can move forward to the next dimension.
And the less melanin people know that, that's why they did what they did.
Exactly.
Because they came from us. Once again, you touched on that too, babe. They came from us.
Exactly. And that's another thing that the black folks don't seem to understand. Like, you can't say black love, talk about black love. Black, I don't know if y'all learned this from art school or not, but black is the consistency and the connection of all colors. So you can't sit here and be like black love, but you disrespecting, the less melanated white boy over here. Yeah, I don't want to. It's a harsh reality, but at the end of the day, karma is a beat. Okay, they do to us what we did to them. It's just life. It goes. It's deep, y'all. It's all about energy. It has nothing to do with colors. It has nothing to do with what race you are, what religion you are. It has nothing to do with that. All of that is distractions. Masturbation is a distraction.
Distraction.
Oh yeah, porn a distraction. So another thing in this book, it says masturbation is an act like sex, but it is not sex. It gives none of the much needed exchange of healing fluids and nurturing energies that the archetypal act of sexual intercourse is designed to give when performed by integrous male and female polarities. It is a chronic waste of the body's precious life force due to the enormous expenditures of vital life energy, fluids, and nutrients. It says, which is why the act, if continuously engaged in, causes the sexual apparatus to eventually hypertrophy, resulting in mental disturbances, early painful menopause, or swollen cancerous prostate. So when y'all trying to figure out, you're getting older and whatnot, and women, like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but women are getting earlier and earlier and earlier menopause. There's a lot of men getting a lot more prostate cancers because y'all don't know how to stop masturbating. Y'all don't know how to quit self-hating yourselves. Y'all don't know how to get y'all's S together. I'm just going to be real with you.
That's right. I mean, and to sum it all up, a lot of, there's a lot of mental health disorders around here.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically why there's mental health disorders around here.
Yeah.
Sex plays a big important part.
Yes.
There's not the right sex happening in our community or abroad.
Yeah.
It's not the right sex or making love, nothing like that. So everybody's falling into the mental health situation.
Yeah. This right here says that the consequences for females are no less severe than men. Most women who masturbate frequently, especially clitorally, eventually become desensitized to their intrinsic feminine instincts, as well as to the feelings and erotic touch of the male. So the more that females masturbate with themselves, the more they are less likely that they don't feel the need to be touched by men. That's why we have lesbians going rampant.
A lot of them. Man.
Exactly, a lot of them. And you can say the same thing for men. That's why you got so many men folks being homosexual and only wanting the touch of a man. Like, I don't understand
what's
how a man cannot love the touch and the feel of a woman and vice versa for a woman. Because I know myself, I will never give up on my man. Okay? I need every bit of that masculinity.
I ain't gonna do lazy.
That's why I love you, babe.
I love you too.
It says here, and then I'll close it up soon because I feel like an hour is enough is y'all time. So it says that her irritability and peevishness happens because of chronic cellular destruction, biochemical derangement, and a severely agitated nervous system. So again, by women doing so much masturbation that it has become a cellular destruction. So now she is biochemically deranged to the point where her nervous system is agitated all the time. Like I was going back to the children. Now we got a short fuse for our own kids. We ain't got time to deal with them. We getting short fuses with our men. We ain't got time to deal with them because you're so agitated, your nervous system's so jacked up. Now we over here, it's just like problem on problem.
It's a mental health situation now. It turns into mental health.
Yep. It also says here, in other words, most places that would not generally have seen, how you could tell a andric female, most places that would not generally have seen hair growth until she reached menopausal age show that her estrogen levels are abnormal. You know, when you get these very, very hairy women, that is because their estrogen balance are thrown off. It also says that she may also acquire a perverse taste for such things as hot peppers, vinegar, heavy spices, eventually moving up to more intense forms of stimulation like the kinds received from alcohol, tobacco, or cocaine. She becomes dependent on these stimulants to keep her body temperature radiating at levels dictated by that masculine type of hormone coursing through her body. So because she now has so much testosterone built up from masturbation, and she's so her temperature is like always craving that high. Now she is going to it's like she's always her stimulants are off. Okay, now it's like she's just hot in it. That's what I mean by hot in the A. She's just hot in the A all the time. Because her temperatures and her fluctuation is all jacked up. It's all full of testosterone. Yeah. So, that's basically what I wanted to talk about tonight when it comes to masturbation. I hope me and my fiance, he's over there in the thing, Ubuntu, Haru, and Manifu. I had to call you out there, babe.
Peace.
So I hope that we have clarified some things up for you all. And for those who are just now coming in, who, I feel like this is very beneficial, you need to watch. So you might want to go back to the beginning and watch it. Just know that masturbation is definitely not natural. It is definitely a certain type of population control and a dividing of the sexes based off of your biochemistry. So if you all didn't understand or get that from the beginning, please go back and watch. Again, masturbation for females, it messes up your nervous system. Masturbation for men, it messes up your endocrine system. Those who haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, it is Minotione Spiritual Advisor. By all means, please like and subscribe to my channel. I think that is all for tonight. You got anything to add, babe?
Yeah. One thing to add, family. This is so-called Black History Month. Black history is by all means beyond any kind of categorized month, year. Don't listen to that. Don't even go by that. If you're melanin, dig in and find out more about who you are, who your people are. Research. What we're talking to you and addressing to everyone is straight up facts. We did our research. We are still learning. We're building off of each other. Come on now. That's all it is. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to be spooked out by your history and all that. Go beyond your religion and dig more within it, please.
Exactly. Please dig. Before I get off, tomorrow night I will be talking about menstruation and how that is definitely not natural as well. For those who, would like to be there, meet me here same time, I think, 8:30. Maybe you're going to be here talking with me about it, or you'll probably be at work, won't you?
Exactly.
So I'll be doing it by myself tomorrow. But I will be discussing menstruation tomorrow. So definitely be there 8:30, same time, and we'll get it popping. Love you all, love and light. Mwah. Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, black love.
Black love, y'all.
All right.
Okay.